What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Smell What Coop is Cooking. On today's episode, I'm getting ready to take you guys to the bookshelf, and we're going to be making a recipe out of Action Brosnon's cookbook. Action Bronson dropped the cookbook a couple years ago called Fuck That's Delicious. I've had it for a while now. I haven't made anything out of it, so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to bring you guys with me. Let's make a recipe out of this. Let's try to stick as close to the recipe as possible, and let's see if I can do it. Let's go. What's going on, y'all? On today's episode, we're going to be making a recipe out of Action Brosnon's 2017 book, Fuck That's Delicious. Flipping the pages, trying to figure out what I should make, and I landed on the butcher's sandwich. I'm going to try to stick as close to the recipe as possible to see if I can replicate the same thing. Starting out, the recipe calls for me to make a jam sauce. So, in a measuring cup, I'm going to measure out 1/4 cup of grape jam. Going to add that into my pot that I have over low heat. I'm going to whisk this jam until it becomes smooth and melted. Next, I'm going to splash a teaspoon or two of this Villa Antinori and a dash of red wine vinegar. I'm going to continue to whisk this jam, Villa Antinori red wine, and red wine vinegar together until it becomes smooth and well combined. This part should only take a few minutes. Pro tip for all you guys out there, don't forget to clean up as you go. Make sure you clean up your area around you so you don't gotta take a whole bunch of time cleaning up the kitchen when you're done. Now my jam is melted through and all those flavors have combined. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat off and remove this from the heat and let it cool. As it cools, it's gonna start to thicken up a little bit. While this bad boy is cooling, it's time for us to make our steak. Let's go ahead and heat a cast iron pan over medium-high heat for about 10 minutes. This recipe calls for a 1-pound boneless ribeye steak, and it just so happens that I happen to have one of these lying around. So let's go ahead and season this up to specifications. Recipe says to freely salt both sides of this ribeye steak, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Salt this side first, flip her on over, give it a nice generous amount of flaky sea salts on the opposite side. Go ahead and rub those edges around the cutting board to get all that excess salt that fell off. Here I've got some Bragg's extra virgin olive oil. I'm gonna go ahead and drizzle that over the top of one side of my steak. 10 minutes have passed. This cast iron pan is ripping hot. It's time to get this steak on. The side that I just drizzled in the olive oil, I'm going to press down into my cast iron pan. Press that bad boy down to get as even a sear as possible. The recipe says that it's gonna smoke, and y'all, it definitely did smoke my apartment up. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and let this steak sear on this side for about 4 minutes. Now it's been about 4 minutes. This steak is ready to flip. I'm gonna go ahead and hit this opposite side with some of that extra virgin olive oil and give it the good old flip ski. Yeah, got a nice little char on that side. That's exactly what we're looking for. We're gonna flip this bad boy over and do the exact same thing on the other side. We're gonna let this sear and cook for about another 4 minutes. Now that side's gotten the 4 minutes it needs. I'm gonna flip this bad boy over on its sides just to kind of sear that fat cap in that it has and make sure all these edges get golden brown. All right, this ribeye is about perfectly done. It's time to go ahead and get this out of my pan and onto my cutting board to rest. For extra flavor, the recipe calls for you to put a tablespoon or 2 of butter on the steak while it rests. And while this steak is resting, the recipe calls for me to enjoy a nice glass of wine, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Don't worry, y'all. I only hurt my shoulder a little bit, patting myself on the back. Now it's time to slice our bread. This recipe calls for a sesame-seeded semolina sub roll. I don't have that, but I'll tell you guys exactly what I do have. It is a 3-cheese semolina bread loaf. Subbing out those sesame seeds, go ahead and tag out, partner, because we're tagging in the Asiago, Parmesan, and Romano cheese. With a bread knife, gonna go ahead and slice this loaf of bread open. With some softened butter, I'm gonna go ahead and butter up the inside of this bread loaf. Now I'm gonna toast these in my cast iron skillet that had the hot steak fat inside of it. While that's toasting, I'm gonna go ahead and start slicing up this steak. Whoo, that bad boy is juicy. Look at that beautiful ribeye, y'all. This is gonna be so bomb on this sandwich. I can't help it, I got to try a slice of this real quick. Man, that's hella fire, y'all. Let's start building this butcher sandwich. All right, I got my beautifully toasted 3-cheese semolina bread loaf. To the bottom side of this toasted bread loaf, I'm gonna smear on this grape jam wine sauce. On the top side of my bun, I'm gonna go in with 2 or 3 tablespoons of this Calabrian chili paste. Now let's start layering on this delicious, beautifully seared ribeye. While I'm stacking this butcher sandwich high, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and slap that like button while you're at it. Next, using a vegetable peeler, I'm gonna go ahead and shave off some feta cheese onto my butcher sandwich. The recipe calls for ricotta salata cheese, but look, I couldn't find that anywhere, y'all. I said I was gonna try to stick as close to the recipe as possible, so we had to switch the cheese up a little bit, and we're using feta. I'd say it's a pretty close substitution. Drizzle some more of that olive oil on top of my steak and feta cheese. Tear off a few small leaves of basil. Dress that on top of my sandwich. Sprinkle a few more crumbles of this feta cheese on the top side of my sandwich. Grab the crown, add it on top. Let's grab a knife and slice into this bad boy. Let y'all get a quick cross-section shot. We got that beautifully sliced ribeye inside. A little bit of heat coming from that chili. Cancels that out when you start to get into that jam sauce at the bottom. With some feta cheese and basil on this bad boy. Woo! Got to try this one. The scoop for Coop this week is just going to be another big ass bite. Hey, this sandwich came out so fire, y'all. I know y'all might be a little sketch on the jam mixed with the chili, but trust me, it all works and it brings this delicious ribeye together. Man, this sandwich is fire, y'all. Let me know what y'all think. Hit me in the comment section. Let me know what's up. Sticking as close as I could to the recipe, I think this turned out pretty fire. Hey, there you have it, you guys. The butcher sandwich. I think it came out pretty close to the recipe. Let me know how you guys like this one in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with a friend or folk. You already know. When you guys hit that subscribe button, don't forget to hit that bell next to it so you guys don't miss none of these fire episodes. We'll catch you right back here next week for another episode of Smell What Coop is Cooking.